Well, welcome back. This is week 3 of the FAB group course, and this week is entitled Living Life to the Max. You're looking at the short and snappy video with the highlights only. If you want more information, you'll want to switch to the long and detailed video. Today we're going to spend quite a bit of time talking about the NHS 5 Ways to Wellbeing. We're going to miss out, though, a large section in this version. We're not going to talk particularly about our thoughts and feelings and how they can impact on our physical health. And we're not going to explain how you can analyse your feelings and your thoughts using a hot cross bun method. We'll be talking, however, about how important it is to support people who care for you. We'll be talking a little bit about future care planning and discussing what you might like to get involved with after the FAB course ends. So, how would you like your life to look if you could sort of change things? What would you like to change? Well, most people here will probably say they'd like to not have lung disease, that's for sure. But if we went round any group, there would be lots of different things discussed here, because we're all individuals and we want different things. But generally, overall, our aim would be to be happy, to have deep-seated happiness, not just sort of happy fun because somebody's told a joke, but deep-seated happiness, contentment, quality of life. And these words describe well-being, and we're looking particularly at how we can improve our well-being here. And it's interesting that it's not necessarily dependent on your health circumstances. When we've looked at individuals and data in studies, it's been very clear that symptoms and quality of life are not closely related to the severity of lung disease. So here we have Bill and Ben, the flowerpot men, and they have got exactly the same condition. They've both been diagnosed with IPF lung fibrosis. They started with breathlessness 3 years ago, and it's gradually got worse. Their lung function is down to 60% of predicted, and they've both been started on the same treatment, nintedanib. And when we talk to Bill, we find out that life is pretty tricky for him, understandably. He doesn't get out much, it's just so difficult with the breathing. So really his social life has shrunk. He would say that he used to have a very colourful life and it's now sort of monotone. He would say that his mood has dropped and he's pretty negative, really. Interestingly, Ben, despite having exactly the same disease, is experiencing life differently. He would say that his quality of life isn't that bad at all. Yes, he does get frustrated at times, but he still really enjoys life. He gets out and about. He has had to change how he does things. He has to pace himself and take things very steadily. He can't join in with the grandchildren playing football. He has to be the referee or the commentator, but he still enjoys interacting with them. He gets to see his friends regularly, and he goes to the quiz night each week. So it's interesting. Bill and Ben have the same disease, but they seem to be living a different life. And why is that, I wonder? Well, it could be that Ben has been doing regular exercise and activity, and so he's got strong muscles and a good heart, and so he's able to do more. It may be that he's learnt how to use his diaphragm to breathe, and so he's breathing in more of an efficient breathing style. Or it could be that he has started to use a lot of the strategies for recovering from acute breathlessness, so he's not too scared of getting breathless because he knows he can recover well. He's probably very aware of the need to conserve energy, and so he perhaps doesn't shower every day so that he's got more energy to spend with the family. And I think he will have also worked out how he can still enjoy himself. He will have perhaps coached himself a bit. He'll have looked at how he's thinking and feeling about things, and he'll have tried to alter how his brain is working. So I think all in all, he has been very intentional about life. He has deliberately focused on making sure that despite his severe lung disease, he is still going to enjoy life. And this will have taken him time and effort, but I think it will have been really worth it for him. So I wonder, how can you live your life to the max? I think one of the problems is we often go through life on automatic, not really paying attention to what we're doing. It's only if we stop and think and reflect that we've got any chance of changing things. So it may be worthwhile just pausing now and thinking how your life is. How do I want it to be? What can I do to make it better? Well, believe it or not, the NHS has sort of done this for you already. You see, they've done a lot of research into the area of how you can improve your mental well-being. After extensive interviews of people and analysis, they've concluded that there are 5 main ways, things that people can do to increase their happiness and well-being, and that is regardless of their underlying health conditions. They called these 5 groups of things people do the 5 ways to well-being, and it's similar in a way to the 5-a-day fruit and veg that they promote for physical health. It's good to know that these 5 ways are easy to achieve, they're free, you don't have to have anything special, and so it would be really worthwhile us going through these 5 ways and seeing if there's anything that you can do to improve your well-being. So I've taken these slides from the Devonshire Partnership Trust here, and they suggest that the 5 different things that you can do to improve your well-being spell the word clang. I don't know if that's helpful or not. The first thing you can do is improve connections with other people. We have been designed, it seems, to be relational human beings. No man is an island, and it's very important to have some people that you can be honest with, that you can talk to at an honest level. So we're not just talking about acquaintances, we're talking about people who you can be real with. And this could be your family or friends, work colleagues, neighbours, that sort of thing. But as well as connecting with other people, some people also think it's important to connect with yourself and have quiet moments, or even to connect with nature or pets or animals. Other people say it's important to connect with God or a higher spiritual power. Some people have too many contacts. They have a lot of acquaintances, as I mentioned, but they don't really connect deeply with anybody. And carers in particular have a lot of contacts. Their world often revolves around caring for the person, and they may have lost contact with other people who they connect with personally. So just take a few moments now to think about how your connections are, how your relationships are. And is there anything you want to change? Do you want to see more of one person? What can you do to improve your connections? The second way to well-being is to keep learning. Now, when we say keep learning, we're not talking about going back and doing your O-levels again. It could be doing something like a cookery course at the local college, but it could be something much smaller than that. The idea is that studies show that by learning new things and being interested in what's around you, your brain is stimulated, and that improves well-being. It's very important that any learning you do isn't seen as a chore. I have to do it. Oh, I've got to do it. It's got to be something you want to do. It doesn't have to be big. It could just be finding out about something that you're curious about. You might even decide to learn more about somebody else you know, their hopes and wishes, what they value in life. I don't know whether you want to tell them that you are focusing in on them as a learning opportunity, or whether you just want to sort of talk to them. You might like to find out what's happening in your local area. So just have a think now. Are you actively learning at the moment? What could you do that's fun, that you're going to look forward to? What interests you? The third way to well-being is being active, and I think this is probably the most difficult one for people with a lung condition. But evidence shows that just increasing your activity level just a little bit is beneficial to your brain and the way you see things, and your well-being and happiness and contentment generally. So you might want to just get out and spend more time in the garden. You might want to go for a short walk, or you might want to meet up with friends, because that's being active, isn't it? Getting out and about. Moderate exercise is good for you, as we all know, and it's interesting to note that small changes in activity can have a big impact. You might want to do pulmonary rehabilitation if you've got that amount of energy. We know that that's one of the most effective ways of keeping fit. Alternatively, you might want to do some chair-based exercises at home, or use the armchair bike that we've talked about before. So have a think now. What small adjustment can you make now that helps you be more active? The fourth way to well-being is a little odd, really, in a way, but we're encouraged to take notice and to just stop and focus on the here and the now. We're encouraged to just stop and look at the sunset and pause for a minute and just enjoy it. Or perhaps notice the children playing in the park and just watch them for a minute. Or really enjoy the time eating lunch at the pub with friends. So we're encouraged to savour moments and to stop and live in the present rather than thinking about all the other things that we need to do. A lot of us tend to hurry through life with lots of schedules and to-do lists, and even when we stop, we're doing something such as watching TV or reading, and we're missing out on spending time just being. Others of us really don't have that much to do, but we are so frustrated that we're not able to do anything anymore, that all our thoughts are on our frustration and the things that we can't do, and again we're just not living in the present. So the key here is to just be aware of the world around you and to be aware of what you're feeling. And if you think this sounds like the mindfulness that we've talked about before, I think you're very right. I think this is the NHS being aware that mindfulness is so important to your general well-being, but rather than call it mindfulness, they're calling it take notice. So I wonder how you can incorporate more pauses and time just to be in your life. How can you slow things down and pause more? The fifth and final way to well-being is another rather unusual one. The NHS has worked out that people who give out to others have increased well-being. So you might want to just think about doing something nice for a friend or a stranger. You might want to smile at somebody or give way to another driver even. Just thanking someone or encouraging them is giving to them, and by giving out to others, we are benefiting ourselves. It's interesting, isn't it? The old adage, the more we give, the more we receive, seems to actually be correct scientifically. Now, it's important not to give out to others out of a sense of duty or politeness or obligation, because that will not improve your well-being. What you need to do is give from the heart and give because you want to give to others, and then you will find that your well-being increases. You might want to just take time to listen to somebody else, and just by doing that you're giving to them again, and it will reciprocally benefit you. So again, you can just stop for a minute and think, do I give to others on a regular basis? What can I do to help others that I haven't thought of before? So those are the 5 ways to well-being that have been scientifically proven to increase your emotional well-being. Definitely worthwhile thinking about. The Devonshire Partnership Trust have devised a small booklet which goes into this in more detail if you're interested, and you can easily find the booklet online by searching Taking Steps Towards Living Well, Devon. So now we're going to change topic completely and think just for a few minutes about the carers that are around, particularly in our lives. Now, caring for somebody can be very rewarding, but it's also at times very tough. A lot of carers feel really socially isolated, and in fact more than 75% of carers say that they have no life outside their caring role. I guess it's not surprising then that 85% of carers say that caring has had a negative impact on their own mental and physical health. And on top of that, it's common to lose out financially as a result of being a carer. Now, there is quite a lot of help out there for carers if you know where to look, but of course if you don't know that help is out there, you're going to struggle on by yourself, which is a shame. And there are 2 organisations within Derbyshire that I think are useful, and you can find them online and contact them by phone, etc. One is the Derbyshire Carers Association, and the other one is Carers in Derbyshire. The sorts of things that they might be able to help you with are they can come to your house or you can meet them somewhere else and go through what's called a carer assessment, where they look at your own personal circumstances. They can help you apply for a personal budget, which is extra money particularly for you to help you, not in your caring role, but to help you look after yourself. They know an awful lot about benefits. They can give legal advice about wills and lasting power of attorney. And as we've said, caring can really take a toll on people, and so sometimes it's quite useful to have counselling and sort of emotional support. Then they can give advice on travel, and they can help you work out the best emergency cover, because if somebody's a carer and they get ill themselves, then clearly there's got to be some sort of emergency cover for the other person, otherwise it could get very tricky. And then there are various befriending services and social events that you can attend, because as we know, people in a caring situation, their own social life tends to have shrunk quite a bit. The next topic I want to touch on is planning for the future. Now, I hope that your lung condition is going to be stable and not deteriorate over time, but of course some people will find that their lung condition deteriorates over time. It's very difficult to predict how the future is going to pan out, and maybe that's a good thing. But because the future is unknown, it's a good idea to plan ahead in case you have an unexpected health emergency. Now, rest assured, nobody is going to force you to do this. If you don't feel it's the right time for you, then just don't do it. But most people who even want to do it find planning for the future uncomfortable because you're sort of thinking about the possibility of your health getting worse. So in a way, if it's uncomfortable, why bother? Well, do you know there's a lot of evidence that people who have talked about and made plans for their future health care are more likely to get the type of care and treatment they want. There's also evidence that by planning ahead, the person feels more in control and more relaxed and at peace. And interestingly, even their relatives and carers say they feel more relaxed. I think that's because they know that there's information to guide the medical team, and the medical team aren't going to come to them and expect them to sort of relate what their relative or close friend would want. So the other key thing to mention is even if you've made a future care plan, it can be changed in the future if you want to, for whatever reason. So what sort of things might be discussed if you were doing some future care planning? Well, certainly one of the major things that we would discuss is what your views are on different treatments, whether you would want them or not. For example, would you want non-invasive ventilation? Do you know what non-invasive ventilation is? It's a tight-fitting mask that goes over the face to help push air in and out to help you breathe. It reduces the work that you have to do breathing. If you've been in hospital for quite a few weeks on end, would you still want everyone to carry on actively treating you or not? If there's only a very small chance of recovery, what would you want then? It's these sort of questions that we go over with people. There's normally a particular section in any future care planning document about CPR or resuscitation. That's cardiopulmonary resuscitation. And a lot of people think that if they're not for CPR, that means that everyone has given up on them. That's not the case at all. Most people are for active treatment right up until the very end. We're trying to get them back to active health as much as possible. But then if their heart or their lungs actually stop, that's equivalent really of them having died, then for people with lung conditions, often there's really very little chance that we're going to be able to restart the heart or lungs with resuscitation, and so it's not a good idea to try. It's just very undignified. But everybody is different, and it's worthwhile discussing your specific situation with a health professional who knows you well. Other things to consider are where you might want to be nursed if you were in the last stages of life. If you were just in the last few days of life, or thought to be, where would you like to be cared for? Would it be in a hospital, or at home with your own familiar surroundings, or in some sort of hospice or nursing facility? At other times, there are practical issues which should be ironed out. For example, if you are the main carer for somebody else, particularly if it's a child, then it's really important to know who's going to look after them in an emergency. Or perhaps you've got a dog or cat at home that needs looking after if you get admitted to hospital. And then generally, who should be contacted in an emergency? All these things can be documented on some sort of future care plan form. We often use a respect form in Derbyshire. It's important to note that these forms are only for guidance, they're not legally binding. This is a picture of a respect form, and I'm not going to say anything more about it here. There's more detail about the respect form in the long and detailed video if you're interested. One thing to note, though, is sometimes respect forms aren't completed in full detail, particularly from the hospital. I think it's difficult. The hospital, all the staff are so busy, and they tend to just fill out the respect form, the sections that are relevant to that particular hospital visit. And sometimes, they fill out the respect form, but there hasn't been a full, complete discussion with the person and their family, if they want. There's been a little short discussion only, and that's not so good. So if you think you've got a respect form that hasn't been filled out fully, we can go over it again. You can talk to either your GP or a nurse or a hospital consultant, somebody that you trust, and we can redo it for you. There are other aspects to future care planning that you might want to consider, whether to get a will or not, whether to appoint a lasting power of attorney, And if there's any particular treatment that you definitely don't want to have, then you can fill out an advanced decision to refuse treatment form. There's a couple of very good booklets online that describe all this in more detail. One is from the National Council of Palliative Care there, called Planning for Your Future Care, and the other one is from Macmillan, entitled Your Life and Your Choices. Macmillan used to all be really very much for cancer, but now they are including non-cancer conditions as well. And remember that after this final FAB group, if you're in a FAB group, you'll have a chance to meet up with one of the doctors or nurses as a one-to-one clinic session where you can discuss future care planning if you want. Well, this is practically the end of the FAB course. I hope you've benefited from it and enjoyed it. So what are you going to do after this? Well, I think it's really important to maintain social connections. Do you remember we talked in the NHS 5 Ways to Wellbeing about how important relationships and connections are? And you might want to consider joining another ongoing lung group. Within the Impact Plus team, we have Lungs for Life and Sing to Beat Breathless classes. You might be interested in joining the Derbyshire Pulmonary Fibrosis Support Group if you've got fibrosis or interstitial lung disease, or there's the Happy Lung community group in Derby that is very active. And then there'll be lots of other local community groups that aren't specifically for people with lung conditions. The Age UK is very active. There are chair-based exercises in all different communities. The best way to find out about local community groups is to talk to the care coordinator at your GP surgery. And then the other thing that I think is really useful for you to do is to build up a medical support network. You don't want to just rely on one or two health professionals. You want to have a whole variety of people that you can call on if you've got difficulty. So as well as the GP practice and the Impact Plus team, you may have a hospital consultant, you may have access to Treetops Hospice. You can drop in there on a Thursday if you want. Do ask the Impact Plus team about more details of that if you're keen. And then of course there's the national support groups. There's the Action for Pulmonary Fibrosis, the British Lung Foundation and Asthma UK. And I'd particularly like to promote the British Lung Foundation. They have an absolutely brilliant site with all sorts of information about lots of areas. And if I had a lung disease, I think that would be the first port of call for me. So this really is the end of the FAB course now. We hope you found it informative and useful. Don't forget to book your one-to-one post-FAB clinic consultation if you're interested. And do you know, it's felt very odd delivering this course as a video. Normally we're sitting round in a room, around a table, drinking tea and coffee and biscuits and interacting, building relationships, but sometimes that's not possible. But I hope it's been clear that we want to support you. We very much appreciate that having a lung disease isn't easy, but I hope that despite that you're able to live life to the max and enjoy life and have a good quality of life.